And, well, I've been doing maths in the commentary box again, which is always a concern. Timo Ramakas, of course, who was in that previous race, has done what he can. At this moment, he's going to be scoring 25 championship points. Kostoya needs to win this race, though, to score those 22 championship points. Second overall in the intermediate classification, that will put him on 174. If Craigie, at this moment, has a spill and drops down the order, he might have a really close fight on his hands. Here's the grid, though. Kostoya and Kelleher on row number 1. They'll be joined by Lev Krutilov and Louis Cochet on row number 2. Joe Turney and Zach Drummond on row 3 with Jacob Mikolev and Yudra Peschel on row 4. Toby Gale and Boris Lysen go from row 5 with Mariana Lopez and Leo Nilsson on row number 6. Row 7 sees Scott Marsh and Nicolo Command. They'll have Lewis Francis and Luna Flusha on row 8. Gino Rocchio and Sebastiano Pavan make it an all-Italian row number 9. Row 10 and the second half of the field, who really need to work hard in this one, will have Sebastian Mins and Simon Bulbarella on row number 10. Oscar Gallin and Joel Pocola go from row number 11. Good to see Joel out on the track. He was also caught out in that incident yesterday, which brought out the red flag. Kasper Reipold and Noah Wolf go from row number 12. Clara Kowalczyk and Sana Z on row 13. They'll have Aaron Garcia and Sada Matsoy on row 14. Sonia B and Tom Pradir go from row 15. Karl Letard and Jagrata Truja go from row 16. They'll have Olin Gali and Elliot Kaczynski on row 17. Sebastian Hayden and Franciszek Sadzielski make it into the superheats, but on the final row of the grid, and a lot of work is ahead of them to see if they've got an outside chance of getting into that final. Grandstands filling up nicely. Drivers warming up the tyres. The sun is shining. This is the last superheat of the day before we go into those finals, as we go live on board with Lev Krutilov, who will be starting this one on the inside of row number 2. And that is a lots of big view there of Joe Turney. He'll be starting on the third row of the grid. And I've got to say, once again, Joe Turney delivering in those qualifying heats. He qualified 50th into this weekend. He starts this superheat on the third row of the grid. The same can be said for Zach Drummond, 36th in qualifying, joins him alongside. Here we go then, out of the final corner and into the tram lines. We wait for the lights to go out from Martin Bean, but they're not going to go out. They are going to go out. We're racing. Joe Turney thought we were going round again, but that's not the case. We are racing down towards turn number 1. It's a solid start for Kostoya, who once again will break away at the sharp end. Cochet there in third place. Lev Krutilov managed to get the whole shot as well and is held on to second place as they head down into the hairpin of turn number 4. It's a solid start. Turney is there behind as well. Drama kicking off in the background, but everyone getting through the first 2 corners unscathed here, Guillaume, as the field of 36 go to work.
And Joe Turney just made his way past up to P3. We have still 2 drivers, unfortunately, who didn't make it through past turn number 4, Oscar Galan and Aaron Garcia, unfortunately coming together. By the look of it, there they are. And on the sideline into the grass, we might need to see that again. But unfortunately, that's DNF for those 2. As a 1 lap completed and already a gap built by Christian Kostoya, 6/10 of a second from Krutilov, Daniel Kelleher, Louis Cochet, Joe Turney just got P4 in the pocket. Now finds himself back into P5 from Mikolev, Drummond, Lopez, Gale, Marsh. That's for your top 10. So the move was made by Joe Turney, and again he's launching himself down on the inside of Louis Cochet. He had gained a bit of momentum in the opening lap before losing those 3 places in the last corner, Joe. Now the British driver is back in contention and on the inside on the 251. That's Mikolev losing a place to the 289. This is Ricochet still fighting his way through, at least trying to resist from the 205 as well. Zach Drummond making his way past the Fusion driver, working his way towards the upper part of the echelon as the 2 car drivers helping each other out just a little bit, with Joe Turney getting ahead of Daniel Kelleher for P3.
Well, those 2 are in a championship fight between each other. Joe Turney 5th in the points, Daniel Kelleher 6th in the points at the moment. So again, they're going to be 2 drivers who are wanting to push forward.
Right, on the start, really chicane, the chain guard come off the Marshall Street car.
Right, so a chain guard coming off then on one of the carts, and well, at this moment we have no idea which cart that is. This might give us an inkling. Is this just a replay of the start or a chain guard picking it off? You're right. Okay, let's watch it through the chicane. And we're looking for a chain guard coming off, and I'm trying to think where to look at this moment of which one. And through the chicane it goes. There it is.
Yes,
it's a silver one. And possibly the Ward Racing cart there in the background. That is pure speculation. But usually if it's silver, it means that it's an OTK one and not a Tony kart. So that's my thought process behind it.
Yeah, well, it remains to be seen who will get back into the pits at some point, if he's been shown a flag or not. As run inside goes to Jacob Daniel Kelleher on Kuto Holov, the energy driver, fighting his way up. Down in P2P4 with the 2 KRs, Tony and Kelleher second and third. Costoia pulling away 1.2 seconds now. There's really no one fast enough to really give a fight to Christian Costoia just yet, but let's expect a lot of drama in the racing coming to the final race of the season this afternoon, as we must look forward to the battle between Tibor Ramakers and Christian Costoia. But as for now, the Spaniard is pulling away 1.2 seconds. Joe Turney now, that's going to be interesting, is on his own and is leaving his teammate Daniel Kelleher, so to speak, battling with Lev Kutulahov, really keeping Kudolahov at bay as much as he can and leaving a bit of space for Joe Turney to attack. So let's see if the British driver, last year's European champion, will be able to keep the chase to Costoia.
Yes, indeed. We'll keep a close eye on that fight. Petrol now the fastest driver out there, pushing his way forward as we keep an eye on this fight. Lev Krutulov trying to close back in on Daniel Kelleher here. Just staying behind. There are your Subeats at the moment. Confirmation. Again, Mamas was correct. Trust me, I'm scared too, Guillaume. 310 points, maximum that Costoia could get. He was not going to be able to beat Ramakers with him finishing that race in third place. So and now he's secured that one. Lev Krutulov here in this position would be jumping up to 6th, which means he'd be starting on the 3rd row of the grid on the outside. But again, he's going to have a lot of work to do from that one. Joe Turney bumping himself up as well inside the top 10. After that really tough qualifying. They crest the hill, and there is the likes of Simon Bulbarella. And is he missing a chain guard? He is indeed. Yep. I did think it was a Ward Racing kart. It is the 329 then that has that chain guard missing. I hate it when I'm right sometimes.
And currently he sits a little bit further back into the classification, as he's going to have, he keeps on going still by the look of it. But yeah, it's not easy certainly at this stage to having your chain guard going off like that. But now we're going to keep a close watch on the battles ahead. 1.1 second, the gap is not decreasing that much between Costoia and Turney. Always easier said than done. The Spanish driver really coming to the fore this season. Daniel Kelleher further back as well. Keeping a close, keeping at bay with the Holov. Then we have Zach Drummond and Scott Marsh on the wheel of that DPK machine, putting the pressure of the Fusion Motorsport driver. As Louis Cochet, Mikalev, Luis Francis as well, climbing up to P9, 6 places in the pocket in front of Lopez. Luna Flusha giving us a good battle and a good recovery as well. The remontada in Spanish, as 5 places up to P11. As Toby Gale, as I said, that is dropping down the order by the look of it to P15 from in front of Boris Leisen. As we can see confirmation of a technical flag for Bulbarella. Fortunately, the Ward Racing driver will not get past the lap number 10 at least, because within the next 3 laps he has to go back to the pits. Technical flag being shown, and that's the end of the race, unfortunately for the Argentinian.
Boris Leisen down the inside there of Gale through turn 1. Nice move there, securing that position. This is Scott Marsh and Zach Drummond further up the order. They're fighting for 5th and 6th place now. Marsh on an 8th place gain through the field. He was another driver who yesterday in that last qualifying heat was not, I don't think, caught out in the same incident, had his own incident where he was trying to get his kart repaired. We saw on the live stream his mechanic working tirelessly hard to get that bent rear axle out of the kart, but unfortunately didn't go his way. But all repaired today, which is good to see. Eyes then on the field. Costoia leading the way, 1.1 seconds. However, Joe Turney there in second has started to close that gap down here. And right now, for Joe Turney, he has stepped himself up to 8th in the point. If he can get this overtake on Costoia, because Costoia is looking very quick out there, he will get up into 7th. He will get past Jesse Phillips. He may even get past the likes of Lev Krutulov, but we'll have to wait and see in those points. Eyes on this one. Cochet battling with Drummond, has got himself up back into 6th place now.
Yeah, good move indeed. Up to P6 for Zach Drummond on the wheel of the Fusion machine over there. 205, just behind Louis Cochet. As there's two Louis driving for Victor Lane, Louis Cochet and Louis Bazire. One had better luck this weekend around than the other, as Cochet was able to get some performance in the back, while Louis Bazire unfortunately got very, very unlucky with a couple of DNFs on his side. Now, Daniel Kelleher left Kuderholov, the battle for P3, 2/10 of a second between those two. And yeah, no one is daring just to make a move yet, and will go the way of Scott Marshall. Look at the DPK driver, passes on track, and there he goes on the inside, launching himself on Kuderholov as we get on board. Just on the edge, beautifully made, as Kuderholov is trying to fight back. There's no way he can actually go.
That was actually a really nice shot there. Actually, we're looking backwards because you could see with that overtake and that side-by-side moment, you could see how quickly the drivers behind were able to close in on them. And there you can see Cochet is that driver closing in on the Victory Lane machine, who is stepping up now pretty nicely back in this order. He is down still 2 places, but still on the fight. Gap between Turney and Costoya, still a second. No change there as they go to work. Kelleher still another 1 second off that pace as well. He's staying in 3rd place. Marsh is still quite a bit of time off that one as well, but this is that fight on your screen, the Kelleher, Marsh, Krutulov and Cochet battle. 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th down the inside. Nicely done. Whoa, look at the closing speed again. Beautifully timed there for Zach Drummond to get through. Cochet down the inside of Krutulov. Put him off the optimal racing line, and now he's got Jacob Mikolev of Malta all over the back of him, as Drummond now gets past through both of them. Drummond, look at this, from Zach Drummond up into 5th place.
Up into 5th place, as we had quickly one driver out by the look of it in turn number 10. Fortunately, who did we lose? Boris Lysen, by the look of it, dropping on the order from KRZ Motorsport. Another driver retiring from this race. As I was looking down as well to see what the Argentinian, Simon Bulbarella as well, came back into the pits. Confirmation of the World Racing retirement due to technical flag, as we get on board with Kuderholov still being harassed right now by Jacob Mikolev. As you can see now into the last sector, into turn number 10, going back on the power back into 11, 12 and 13. Strong battle as well between the 240, Daniel Kelleher and Scott Marsh. This is for P3. 2 battles at once on the left side and on the rear, as Kuderholov is trying to keep Mikolev at bay. Oh, he's just shutting the door a little bit on the yacht. Back on the power, trying to keep the momentum, but Jacob Mikolev had a little bit of a toe, taking the inside into the first corner. And yeah, there was nothing that Kuderholov could have done there, and dropping a place.
Christian Costura at this stage of a race, setting a fastest lap of the race, a 50.1 again. That consistency from Costoya, now with him starting on the front row, would put 1st, 2nd and 3rd in the championship, 1st, 2nd and 3rd in the final grid. My goodness, the senior final is going to be one to watch. Please don't miss it. And right now, yeah, with him showcasing this consistency that he's having and this pressure he can keep off from the likes of Joe Turney's pushing forward, he's going to be a real contender in that final. You'll have to wait and see with it. Lev Krutulov back on board, looking backwards, seeing Lewis Francis in his exhaust pipe, is going to try and get a move done, I'm sure, in this lap. He's close enough for it, but nothing down in towards turn number 4. Love it as they reclimb up the hill, the crest, the bump, as they go through in towards turn 6 here. They can carry the speed down the hill in towards the very opening turn number 7. Tightens on the apex, opens up again, tightens on the exit again, and it's just a fabulous little run of corners here. So many high-speed areas. You can see just behind Francis as well is Luna Flusha, who was also on a 6th place gain in this race, stepping forward. Eyes on the front runners. There is the lead fight. Christian Costoya, smooth as you like, looks absolutely glued to the track there, doesn't he? 1.2 seconds now from Joe Turney.
Yeah, I even run into Marco Paulin, the head of the Paulin Motorsport team, this morning, and I joked about Christian Costoya being so consistent and showing such a great pace in the lead. I said to him, did you even ask him to slow down a little bit to preserve those tires and try to, you know, see the weekend to the final? And he even said to me that at some point they were testing some different engines to find the best setup, and they did ask Christian to push a little bit as he was in the lead to give different feedback. So even while leading the race, he's doing some testing and giving some feedback information to his team. So that gives you, yeah, pretty much the picture of how consistent and how strong has been Christian Costoya so far this season in Champions, in the series as well. And it will be one contender until the end. As you mentioned, you know, this final this afternoon, starting with the juniors, then the OK at 1:40 local time. You just don't want to miss it, that final showdown for the win, but for title as well.
Yes, indeed. Scott Marsh, though, there he is, third place. Good running from him. This is the battle just further behind. Drummond from Mikalev, Krutulov and Flusha. Flusha now getting past Lewis Francis, now up 7 places into P9. Francis still in a good spot there in the top 10 on a 5-place gain. This is a little further as well. We're seeing the fights happening all the way throughout the field. This is, I think, in around the Sebastian Mins-Nielsen area. Sebastian Pavan just behind as well, trying to push his way forward. Costoya, though, on this penultimate, last lap of the race, I should say. 1.4 seconds now, turning, just backing off a little bit. He doesn't need to, they know they're going to get a fresh set of tyres for that final anyway. But he's conserving the cards, I think, and himself, of course, ready for that final, where Joe Turney, despite his best efforts, will start on the 4th row of the grid, P8 for that final. Costoya will be starting alongside Thibaut Ramackers for that final. Kenzo Craigie will be starting on the inside of row number 2, and he'll be joined by the home favourite from Sweden, Oliver Kinmark. Checker flag goes out. Costoya takes the win ahead of Joe Turney. Mars from Kelleher, Cochet from Drummond, the top 6.
3 races win in the qualifying heats, 1 race in the super heat. That's 4 so far, and maybe a 5th one coming up this afternoon. It remains to be seen, but Christian Costoya, a force to be reckoned with this weekend on the Asian ring of Kristianstad. Beautiful performance from the Parolin driver on Joe Turney. 1.7 seconds on the checkered flag. The British driver lining 3 places up at some point. He was really pushing, giving everything he has, but at some point he might have backed off a little bit, realizing that despite all of his efforts, well, there was no one catching up with Christian Costoya. Scott Marsh picked up 3rd place thanks to a beautiful recovery of 10 positions from Daniel Kelleher, Louis Cochet, Zach Drummond P6 from Lev Kutuholov, Jakob Mikalev, Luna Flusha. Certainly her best performance this weekend. 7 places gained up to P9 from Lewis Francis, Jerry Spezel, Mariano Lopez, Sebastian Mins, Leon Nielsen, Sebastiano Pavan, as well as Sun Anze, Gino Rocchio. Thomas Pradier 12 places up to P18, the best recoverer in this race from Klara Kowalczyk. And Toby Gale P20, 21st place goes to Joel Pohola from Karl Lutard, Nicolo Coman, Elliot Kaczynski, Jagal Tetroja, Olin Gali, Sarah Matsuit, Kasper Rashpold, Sebastian Hedin, Yevin Sun,